The islands of Santa Isabel, Choiseul, Guadalcanal, Malaita, and San Cristobal are part of which island group? Solomon Islands. These islands constitute the major landmasses of the Solomon Islands, an archipelagic nation located in Oceania, east of Papua New Guinea. Guadalcanal is particularly notable as the site of significant World War II battles. Which prominent astronomer, born in West Yorkshire, England in 1915 and who died in 2001 in Bournemouth, England, was also a notable science fiction writer, known for works such as the novel, The Black Cloud, the TV series, A for Andromeda, and the play, Rockets in Ursa Major. Sir Fred Hoyle. Sir Fred Hoyle was a distinguished British astronomer and cosmologist, best known for his advocacy of the steady-state theory of the universe and his groundbreaking work on stellar nucleosynthesis. He also made significant contributions to science communication and fiction. What is the common designation for the planet Venus when it becomes visible in the western sky after sunset? Evening star. Venus is often referred to as the evening star when it appears prominently in the western sky shortly after sunset. This phenomenon occurs because Venus's orbit is closer to the Sun than Earth's, causing it to be visible only during twilight hours. Which mythological figure, according to Greek tragedy, unknowingly killed his father and married his mother, subsequently blinding himself upon discovering his true identity after his mother's suicide? Oedipus. Oedipus is a central figure in Greek mythology and the tragic hero of Sophocles' play Oedipus Rex. His story, a profound exploration of fate and free will, has had immense influence on Western literature, philosophy, and psychology, famously inspiring Freud's Oedipus complex. Which significant island group, located between the South China Sea and the Pacific Ocean, was discovered by Ferdinand Magellan in 1521, subsequently colonized by Spain, ceded to the USA in 1898, and achieved independence as a republic in 1946? Philippines. The Philippines has a rich colonial history, marked by Spanish rule for over 3 centuries after Magellan's arrival. Following the Spanish-American War, it was ceded to the United States and eventually gained full independence after World War II, shaping its unique cultural and political identity. What astronomical term describes the point on the ecliptic where the Sun reaches its greatest angular distance north or south of the celestial equator? Solstice. A solstice occurs twice a year, marking either the longest day, summer solstice, or the shortest day, winter solstice, in a hemisphere. These events are crucial for understanding Earth's axial tilt and its impact on seasonal changes and daylight hours. According to Virgil's Latin epic poem, the Aeneid, who constructed the wooden horse filled with soldiers that the Trojans brought within the gates of Troy during the Trojan War? The Greeks. The Trojan horse is a story from the Trojan War about the ruse that allowed the Greeks to enter the city of Troy. It is recounted in Virgil's Aeneid and is a classic example of military deception. What is the capital city of Greece? Athens. Athens is not only the capital and largest city of Greece but also one of the world's oldest cities, with a recorded history spanning over 3,400 years. It is renowned for its significant contributions to Western civilization, including democracy, philosophy, and classical architecture. What is the common name for sodium bicarbonate? Baking soda. Sodium bicarbonate, sodium hydrogen carbonate, is a chemical compound commonly known as baking soda. It is widely used in baking as a leavening agent, reacting with acids to produce carbon dioxide, which helps dough and batters rise. The Greek mathematician, mystic, and scientist Pythagoras is most renowned for the Pythagorean theorem, which relates to what geometric figure? Triangles. The Pythagorean theorem states that in a right-angled triangle, The square of the hypotenuse, the side opposite the right angle, is equal to the sum of the squares of the other two sides, a squared plus b squared equals c squared. Pythagoras was an ancient Ionian Greek philosopher and the eponymous founder of Pythagoreanism. The 1964 film, Dr. Strangelove, featured a titular character who was a national security consultant. Which prominent public official from the 1970s was notably nicknamed Dr. Strangelove? Henry Kissinger. Henry Kissinger served as United States Secretary of State and National Security Advisor under Presidents Richard Nixon and Gerald Ford. His diplomatic approach and intellectual reputation led to him being occasionally nicknamed Dr. Strangelove, drawing parallels to the character in Stanley Kubrick's satirical film. This reflects the intersection of political figures and public perception. What is the term for a 14-line poem, first attributed to Giacomo da Lentini around 1220, for which various rhyme schemes have been developed? Sonnet. A sonnet is a poetic form originating in Italy, composed of 14 lines, typically written in iambic pentameter. It is characterized by specific rhyme schemes, such as the Petrarchian Italian sonnet, Abba Abbacdecde, and the Shakespearean English sonnet, Abab CDCDFFGG. What was the collective name for the English textile workers who, between 1811 and 1812, destroyed machinery as a form of protest, believing it threatened their employment? Luddites. The Luddites were a secret oath-based organization of English textile workers who protested against newly developed labor-saving machinery during the Industrial Revolution. They feared that these machines would replace skilled labor, leading to widespread unemployment and a decline in wages. The term, Luddite, is now used to describe someone who is opposed to technological change. Who developed the most widely used system of shorthand, proposed in stenographic soundhand, in 1837? Isaac Pitman. Isaac Pitman, 1813 to 1897, was an English phonographer who developed the most widely used system of shorthand, known as Pitman shorthand. He first proposed his system in stenographic soundhand in 1837, which significantly improved efficiency in transcription and record keeping. What medium had its first test with a recording of Richard Strauss's Eine Alpensymphonie by the Berlin Philharmonic conducted by Herbert von Karajan in 1981, and its first commercial pressing with The Visitors by ABBA a year later? Compact disc. The compact disc, CD, revolutionized audio recording and playback, becoming a dominant format in the 1980s and 1990s. Its development marked a significant leap in digital audio technology, moving from analog records to digital storage. From its discovery in 1930 until 2006, what was considered to be the solar system's ninth planet? Pluto. Pluto was discovered by Clyde Tombaugh in 1930 and was long classified as the ninth planet of our solar system. In 2006, the International Astronomical Union reclassified Pluto as a dwarf planet, establishing new criteria for planetary status. Which ballet, with music by Igor Stravinsky and choreography by Vaslav Nijinsky, under impresario Serge Diaghilev, caused a riot at its 1913 premiere in Paris by the ballet's Russers due to its groundbreaking and controversial music and choreography? The Rite of Spring. Igor Stravinsky's ballet, The Rite of Spring, premiered in 1913 and caused a scandal due to its primitive, dissonant music and groundbreaking choreography by Vaslav Nijinsky. This work profoundly influenced modern classical music and ballet, challenging traditional aesthetics and marking a pivotal moment in 20th century art. In which country did the USA enter a war by sending military advisors in 1950, escalating their involvement until finally combat units played an active part between 1965 and 1975? Vietnam. The Vietnam War, a significant Cold War-era conflict, saw increasing U.S. involvement from the 1950s, escalating into direct military engagement from 1965 to 1975. This conflict had profound geopolitical consequences and led to major social and political changes in both Vietnam and the United States. Which Italian island in the Mediterranean is to the south of Corsica? Sardinia. Sardinia is the second largest island in the Mediterranean Sea, located west of the Italian peninsula and south of the French island of Corsica. Its strategic location and natural beauty make it a notable geographical feature in southern Europe. What amphibians are native to Europe and Asia, with 4 fingers and 5 toes, one species of which ejects a white poisonous fluid from the glands in the skin? Salamander. Salamanders are a group of amphibians characterized by their slender bodies, short legs, and long tails, native to Europe, Asia, and the Americas. Some species possess glands that produce toxic secretions as a defense mechanism against predators. Who was the Roman god of the sea? Neptune. Neptune was the ancient Roman god of the sea, often associated with horses and earthquakes, and is the Roman counterpart to the Greek god Poseidon. He was one of the 12 Olympian deities and a significant figure in Roman mythology. Che Guevara was among the revolutionaries who invaded which country with the intention of overthrowing its US-backed dictator in December 1956? Cuba. In December 1956, Che Guevara was part of the 26th of July movement, led by Fidel Castro, which launched an invasion of Cuba aboard the Granma yacht. Their aim was to overthrow the US-backed dictatorship of Fulgencio Batista, eventually leading to the Cuban Revolution in 1959. What is a theater sister? Nurse in an operating theater. In healthcare, particularly in the UK and Commonwealth countries, a theatre sister, or theatre nurse, refers to a senior registered nurse who specializes in working within the operating room environment. Their responsibilities include preparing the operating theatre, assisting surgeons, and ensuring patient safety during surgical procedures. What has been a state religion in Japan? Shintoism. Shintoism is the traditional ethnic religion of Japan, focusing on the worship of kami, gods or spirits. It historically served as the state religion of Japan, particularly during the Meiji period, where it was utilized to foster national unity and reverence for the emperor. How many metatarsal bones are in each human foot? 5. Each human foot contains 5 metatarsal bones, which are long bones located between the ankle, tarsal bones, and the toes, phalanges. These bones play a crucial role in supporting the foot's arch and facilitating movement. The Australian city of Adelaide is located on which river? Torrens River. The Torrens River is a significant waterway that flows through Adelaide, South Australia. It plays a crucial role in the city's geography and urban planning, with many parklands situated along its banks. Which legendary land was situated between the Scilly Isles and Cornwall before it was submerged by the sea? Lyonesse. Lyonesse is a legendary lost land from Arthurian mythology, often associated with the region between Land's End, Cornwall, and the Scilly Isles. Tales describe it as a fertile kingdom with numerous churches, believed to have been submerged by a great flood. In which city was a 5-block area permanently closed to traffic in May 2009 as part of an initiative to enhance urban livability? New York City. In May 2009, New York City implemented a major urban planning initiative by permanently closing Broadway to vehicular traffic in a 5-block stretch around Times Square and Herald Square. This move aimed to create pedestrian plazas, improve air quality, and enhance the overall livability and public space for residents and tourists. In musical notation, what does a series of dots placed above or below notes signify? Staccato. Staccato is an articulation mark in music that indicates a note should be played shorter than its written duration, with a separation from the note that follows. It gives a detached, abrupt, or choppy sound, creating rhythmic clarity and emphasis. The legend of Robin Hood, originating from the 14th century and featuring characters like Friar Tuck, Little John, and Alan A. Dale, is primarily set in which forest? Sherwood Forest. Sherwood Forest, located in Nottinghamshire, England, is famously associated with the legend of Robin Hood. This ancient royal hunting forest is central to the folklore, serving as the outlaw's primary hideout and the setting for many of his adventures. Which English naturalist proposed and provided substantial evidence that all life forms have evolved over time from common ancestors through the process of natural selection? Charles Darwin. Charles Darwin was a pivotal English naturalist whose theory of evolution by natural selection revolutionized biology. His seminal work, On the Origin of Species, 1859, detailed how species adapt to their environment, leading to the diversification of life over millions of years. Loch Ness is an integral part of which major Scottish canal system? Caledonian Canal. Loch Ness, a large freshwater loch in the Scottish Highlands, forms a significant segment of the Caledonian Canal. This historic canal connects the east and west coasts of Scotland, providing a navigable route through a series of lochs and man-made waterways. Where were tanks used for the first time in battle? Somme, 1916. Tanks were first deployed by the British during the Battle of Flers-Courcelette, a part of the Battle of the Somme, in September 1916. While their initial impact was limited due to mechanical issues, it marked a significant moment in the evolution of modern warfare. What term is used to describe the Western European architectural style from the late 10th to the 12th century which was identifiably medieval, prefigured the Gothic, yet maintained the rounded Roman arch? Romanesque. Romanesque architecture flourished in Europe between the late 10th and late 12th centuries, characterized by massive quality, thick walls, round arches, sturdy piers, groin vaults, large towers, and decorative arcading. It represented a distinct medieval style that laid foundations for the subsequent Gothic period. Who claimed to be a direct descendant of King Solomon and the Queen of Sheba, and worked to achieve the independence of Abyssinia? Menelik II. Menelik II was Emperor of Ethiopia, then Abyssinia, from 1889 to 1913. He is renowned for his military victory over Italy at the Battle of Adwa in 1896, which preserved Ethiopia's independence during the scramble for Africa, and for modernizing the nation. Which country has borders with the Central African Republic, Sudan, Zambia, Angola, the Republic of the Congo, Uganda, Rwanda, and Burundi, with Tanzania across Lake Tanganyika? Democratic Republic of the Congo. The Democratic Republic of the Congo, DRC, is the second largest country in Africa by area and the 11th largest in the world. Its central location in Africa results in an extensive border network with 9 neighboring countries, highlighting its significant geopolitical position. The U.S. state of Virginia was named after which queen? Elizabeth I. The colony of Virginia was named in honor of Queen Elizabeth I of England, often referred to as the Virgin Queen, because she never married. This naming reflects the strong ties between the early American colonies and the English monarchy. Who rests in the Hôtel des Invalides, Paris? Napoleon. The Dôme des Invalides in Paris houses the tomb of Napoleon Bonaparte. After his death in 1821, his remains were brought back to France in 1840 and interred in this grand complex, which was originally built as a home and hospital for aged and unwell soldiers. What is the common name for herpes zoster? Shingles. Herpes zoster, commonly known as shingles, is a viral infection caused by the varicella zoster virus, the same virus that causes chickenpox. After a person recovers from chickenpox, the virus remains dormant in nerve tissue and can reactivate later in life, causing a painful rash. How long is the Greek measure called a stadium? 1/10 of a mile. The ancient Greek stadium, plural, stadia, was a unit of length, approximately 185 meters or about 1/10 of a mile. It was originally defined by the length of a typical foot race track in ancient Greek stadiums, such as the one at Olympia. The Grand Canyon is located in which US state? Arizona. The Grand Canyon, carved by the Colorado River, is a massive canyon located entirely within Arizona, USA. It is one of the most iconic natural wonders globally, renowned for its vivid geological formations and vast scale. What is the term for the change in direction of a wavefront at an interface between two different media so that the wavefront returns into the medium from which it originated, with common examples including light, sound, and water waves? Reflection. Reflection is the phenomenon where a wave, such as light or sound, bounces back upon striking a surface or boundary between two different media. The angle of incidence equals the angle of reflection, a fundamental principle in optics and acoustics. The publication of Harriet Beecher Stowe's book, Uncle Tom's Cabin, in 1852 aroused much public feeling about what issue in the USA? Slavery. Harriet Beecher Stowe's Uncle Tom's Cabin was an influential anti-slavery novel published in 1852. It depicted the harsh realities of slavery, significantly fueling abolitionist sentiment and contributing to the social and political tensions that led to the American Civil War. In Roman numerals, what is signified by the letter V? 5. Roman numerals are an ancient numeral system that originated in Rome, using combinations of letters from the Latin alphabet. The letter V consistently represents the number 5, a basic component of this system. What is the area of a triangle whose sides are 5, 12, and 13 inches long? 30 square inches. This triangle is a right-angled triangle, as its sides, 5, 12, 13, form a Pythagorean triplet. 5 to the power of 2 plus 12 to the power of 2 equals 25 plus 144 equals 169 equals 13 squared. The area of a right triangle is calculated as 1/2 asterisk base asterisk height, which is 1/2 asterisk 5 times 12 equals 30 square inches. What is the cause of the effervescence in a bottle of real champagne? Fermentation takes place after the bottle has been sealed. The effervescence in champagne and other sparkling wines is caused by dissolved carbon dioxide gas. This gas is produced during a secondary fermentation process that occurs inside the sealed bottle, a method known as méthode traditionnelle or champenoise. What are the yeoman warders, who have guarded the Tower of London since 1485, commonly called? Beefeaters. The yeoman warders are ceremonial guardians of the Tower of London, a historic fortress in central London. Their duties include conducting tours for visitors and protecting the crown jewels. The nickname, Beefeaters, is believed to derive from their historical right to eat beef from the king's table. Brasilia has been the capital of Brazil since 1960. Where was the capital before that? Rio de Janeiro. Rio de Janeiro served as the capital of Brazil from 1763 until 1960. Brasilia was specifically designed and built as a new federal capital to promote the development of the country's interior. Who was the previous king of Spain before King Juan Carlos I succeeded on the 22nd of November 1975? Alfonso XIII. Alfonso XIII was the king of Spain until 1931, when the Second Spanish Republic was proclaimed. King Juan Carlos I ascended to the throne in 1975, restoring the monarchy after the Franco dictatorship, making Alfonso XIII his historical predecessor rather than an immediate one. In which century was the Panama Canal opened? 20th. The Panama Canal officially opened on August 15, 1914, connecting the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans. This monumental engineering feat significantly reduced travel time for ships by eliminating the need to navigate around South America. At the 1896 Olympics, winners received a silver medal and second place received a bronze medal. In 1900, most winners received cups or trophies instead of medals. What present tradition was introduced at the 1904 Games? Awarding gold, silver and bronze medals for the first three places. The 1904 St. Louis Games marked the first time the now standard practice of awarding gold, silver, and bronze medals for the top three places was implemented. This tradition became a cornerstone of Olympic award ceremonies, distinguishing the podium finishers. Roswell, the UFO crash site, is in which U.S. state? New Mexico. Roswell is a city in the state of New Mexico, USA. It gained international notoriety in 1947 due to an alleged crash of an extraterrestrial spacecraft, an event known as the Roswell incident. How many fence posts are required to surround a field that is 12 meters square, if a post must be provided every meter? 48. For a 12-meter square field with posts every meter, a post is needed at each corner and at every meter along the perimeter. The total perimeter is 4 times 12 meters, which equals 48 meters, thus 48 posts are required if posts are placed at every meter mark including the corners. Which British sculptor and artist of the 20th century, whose work was said to exemplify modernism, was made a dame in 1965 and died aged 72 in a fire in her studio at St. Ives, Cornwall, in 1975? Barbara Hepworth. Barbara Hepworth was a leading figure in the development of modern sculpture, particularly known for her abstract and biomorphic forms. She was a key artist in the St. Ives School, which greatly influenced 20th century British art. What is the longest river on the island of New Guinea? Sepik. The Sepik River is the longest river on the island of New Guinea and is one of the world's great river systems. It flows primarily through Papua New Guinea and is known for its extensive wetlands and rich biodiversity. Who is credited with the design of the small British car known as the Mini? Alec Issigonis. Alec Issigonis, a British-Greek automotive engineer, designed the original Mini for the British Motor Corporation, BMC, in 1959. His innovative transverse engine layout and space-saving design became highly influential in car manufacturing globally. What was the name of 11 rulers of the 19th and 20th Egyptian dynasties? Ramesses. Ramesses, often spelled Rameses, was the throne name used by 11 pharaohs of ancient Egypt, primarily during the 19th and 20th dynasties. The most famous among them was Ramesses II, known as Ramesses the Great, who reigned for 66 years and is remembered for his monumental building projects and military campaigns. The chief rivers of which country are the Ebro, Juca, Guadalquivir, Tagus, Douro and Minho? Spain. Spain's geography is defined by several significant rivers, including the Tagus, Tajo, which is the longest river in the Iberian Peninsula and flows through both Spain and Portugal. Other major rivers like the Ebro, Guadalquivir, and Duero, Douro, are vital for irrigation, transport, and regional ecosystems within the country. Who was elected president of Argentina in 1946 after a military coup and was forced to resign and leave in 1955? Juan Perón. Juan Domingo Perón was a pivotal figure in Argentine history, serving as president from 1946 to 1955, and later from 1973 to 1974. His political ideology, Peronism, combined nationalist and populist elements, leaving a lasting impact on Argentine politics and society. He was forced into exile by a military coup in 1955. Which country, governed by the Danish government as its colony, was made an equal part of the Danish kingdom in 1953? Greenland. Greenland, the world's largest island, transitioned from a Danish colony to an integral part of the Danish realm in 1953, gaining significant autonomy. Today, it operates as a self-governing territory within the Kingdom of Denmark, managing most of its internal affairs while Denmark handles defense and foreign policy. What is the common name for peristalsis? Swallowing. Peristalsis is the involuntary constriction and relaxation of the muscles of the intestine or another canal, creating wave-like movements that push the contents forward. While swallowing initiates this process in the esophagus, peristalsis continues throughout the digestive tract, moving food and waste. In which country is the plateau of the Great Karoo? South Africa. The Great Karoo is a vast, semi-desert natural region of more than 400,000 square kilometers in South Africa, extending across the Western, Eastern, and Northern Cape provinces. Characterized by its unique geology, diverse flora, and harsh climate, it is a significant ecological and cultural landscape. What was the name given to wandering players in 12th and 13th century France, England, and Germany who recited poems of love and wine? Goliards. Goliards were a group of clerical students and vagabond scholars in medieval Europe, 12th-13th centuries, known for their satirical Latin poetry. Their verses often critiqued the church and expressed themes of hedonism, including love, wine, and revelry. What number cannot be written in Roman numerals? 0. The Roman numeral system, developed in ancient Rome, does not have a symbol for 0. Its numerical representation is based on combinations of 7 symbols, I, V, X, L, C, D, M, which are additive or subtractive. The concept of 0 as a placeholder or a number in its own right was introduced later by the Indian mathematical system and propagated by Arab scholars. What is the name of the Bill of Rights entrenched in the Constitution of Canada, which forms the first part of their Constitution Act, 1982? Charter of Rights and Freedoms. The Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms is a Bill of Rights entrenched in the Constitution of Canada. It guarantees certain political, legal, and equality rights to all Canadians, forming the first part of the Constitution Act, 1982. This charter is a cornerstone of Canadian law and identity, shaping various aspects of public life and governance. Where is the White House? Washington. The White House is the official residence and principal workplace of the President of the United States. It is located at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue NW in Washington, D.C. This iconic building serves as a symbol of American democracy and power, hosting world leaders and significant national events. What is the longest river in Italy? Po. The Po is the longest river in Italy, flowing eastward for over 650 kilometers, 400 miles, across northern Italy, from the Cortian Alps to the Adriatic Sea. Its fertile plain, known as the Po Valley, is a major agricultural and industrial region of the country, crucial for Italy's economy and history. Which country became a separate state in 1890 after having been, since 1443, part of Burgundy, Spain, Austria, Belgium, and the Netherlands? Luxembourg. Luxembourg gained its full independence and became a separate sovereign state in 1890, though its autonomy had been recognized earlier. Historically, the Grand Duchy endured centuries of foreign rule, being part of various larger European entities like Burgundy, Spain, Austria, Belgium, and the Netherlands. Its strategic location made it a coveted territory in European geopolitics. In astronomy, what is the next letter in the sequence O, B, A, F, G, K, M? The sequence O, B, A, F, G, K, M represents the Harvard spectral classification of stars, ordered by decreasing surface temperature. O-type stars are the hottest and most massive, while M-type stars are the coolest and most common. This classification system helps astronomers categorize stars based on their spectral lines, which reveal their temperature and chemical composition. Where was the venue for the 2010 Commonwealth Games? New Delhi. The 2010 Commonwealth Games, officially known as the 19th Commonwealth Games, were held in New Delhi, India, from 3 to the 14th of October 2010. It was the largest multi-sport event ever conducted in Delhi and marked the second time the Games were held in Asia. The Union of South Africa was formed in 1910. Which territory did not join the Union until 1919? Southwest Africa. The Union of South Africa was established in 1910, uniting 4 British colonies. Southwest Africa, a former German colony, was subsequently administered by South Africa under a League of Nations mandate after World War I, eventually joining the Union in 1919 and later becoming independent Namibia in 1990. Which country shares borders with Brazil, Paraguay, and Peru? Bolivia. Bolivia is a landlocked country in South America. It is bordered by Brazil to the north and east, Paraguay to the southeast, Argentina to the south, Chile to the southwest, and Peru to the west, making it a strategically located nation in the continent. What is the capital of Morocco, located approximately 60 miles north of Casablanca? Rabat. Rabat is the capital city of Morocco, situated on the Atlantic Ocean at the mouth of the Bou Regreg River. It is a major administrative and cultural center, recognized for its rich history and architecture, and is significantly located north of the more populous city of Casablanca. What is the name of the President of the United States' private office located in the White House? Oval Office. The Oval Office is the official workplace of the President of the United States, located in the West Wing of the White House. It is famous for its distinctive oval shape and serves as a significant symbol of the presidency, where many crucial decisions and meetings take place. What was the name of the first nuclear-powered submarine, launched on January 21, 1954? Nautilus. The USS Nautilus, SSN 571, was the world's first operational nuclear-powered submarine, launched by the United States Navy on January 21, 1954. Its deployment marked a significant milestone in naval warfare and submarine technology, ushering in an era of extended underwater endurance and strategic capabilities. Which painter's most famous works include Portrait of Mrs. Graham, Mary and Margaret, the painter's daughters, William Hallett and his wife Elizabeth, née Stephen, known as The Morning Walk, and Cottage Girl with Dog and Pitcher. Thomas Gainsborough. Thomas Gainsborough was a prominent English portrait and landscape painter of the 18th century, a founding member of the Royal Academy. He is celebrated for his elegant portraits and expressive landscapes, capturing the essence of the British aristocracy and rural life. His distinct style influenced later generations of artists. The half-length portrait of Lisa di Anton Maria di Noldo Gherardini is better known by what name? Mona Lisa. The Mona Lisa is a half-length portrait painting by Italian artist Leonardo da Vinci, considered an archetypal masterpiece of the Italian Renaissance. It is one of the world's most famous paintings, renowned for its enigmatic smile and its artistic innovation in sfumato technique. Which word was coined by Karel Capek in his play, RUR, in 1920? Robot. The word robot was coined by Czech writer Karel Čapek in his 1920 science fiction play Rossum's Universal Robots. Derived from the Old Church Slavonic rabota servitude, forced labor, it introduced the concept of artificial beings created to perform tasks for humans, significantly impacting future technological and literary discussions. Which English playwright, known for The Conscious Lovers, founded The Tatler, The Spectator, and The Guardian? Sir Richard Steele. Sir Richard Steele was an influential Irish writer, playwright, and politician, a prominent figure in 18th-century English literature. He is renowned for co-founding and contributing significantly to The Tatler and The Spectator, pioneering forms of essay journalism that shaped public discourse and literary taste of his era. What is the common term for a baby's first set of teeth? Milk teeth, or deciduous teeth. A baby's first set of teeth are commonly known as milk teeth or deciduous teeth. These 20 temporary teeth typically erupt between 6 months and 3 years of age and play a crucial role in speech development and proper chewing before being replaced by permanent adult teeth. What Latin American term is often used to refer to a foreigner, particularly from the United States? Gringo. Gringo is a term, often with a pejorative connotation, used in Latin American countries and Spain to refer to a foreigner, especially one from the United States or an English-speaking country. Its etymology is debated, but it reflects historical and cultural interactions between different linguistic and national groups. In which country did a civil war occur between 1861 and 1865, which resulted in the defeat of the Confederate forces? United States of America, USA. The American Civil War, 1861 to 1865, was fought between the Union and the Confederate States over issues including slavery and states' rights. The Union's victory preserved the United States as a single nation and led to the abolition of slavery. Which mathematical operation, when applied to the numbers 10 and 5, yields 2 as the result? Division. Division is one of the 4 basic arithmetic operations. It involves splitting a number, dividend, into equal parts, determined by another number, divisor, to find how many times the divisor is contained within the dividend. Identify the English chalk plain, traversed by the river Avon, which is home to the prehistoric monuments of Stonehenge and Amesbury. Salisbury Plain. Salisbury Plain is a vast chalk plateau in southern England, renowned for its rich archaeological landscape. It is most famous for containing Stonehenge, a UNESCO World Heritage Site, which is one of the world's most iconic prehistoric monuments. What is the collective term for the 8 prestigious universities located in the northeastern United States? Ivy League. The Ivy League is an American collegiate athletic conference comprising 8 private research universities in the northeastern United States. These institutions are highly regarded globally for their academic excellence, selective admissions, and historical significance. Where was the world's first commercial railway line constructed? Stockton to Darlington, United Kingdom. The Stockton and Darlington Railway, opened in 1825, was the world's first public railway to use steam locomotives for both passengers and freight. This pioneering line marked a pivotal moment in the history of transportation, heralding the advent of modern railway systems. Who discovered X-rays in 1895 and subsequently demonstrated their application in medicine? Wilhelm Conrad Röntgen. Wilhelm Conrad Röntgen, a German physicist, discovered X-rays in 1895, for which he was awarded the first Nobel Prize in Physics in 1901. His groundbreaking discovery revolutionized medical diagnostics and continues to be fundamental in various scientific and industrial applications. Where was the British battleship HMS Royal Oak sunk by the German submarine U-47 in October 1939? Scapa Flow. The sinking of HMS Royal Oak at Scapa Flow on October 14, 1939, was a significant naval engagement early in World War II. The German U-47, under Gunther Prien, infiltrated the heavily defended naval base in Scotland, sinking the battleship and killing over 800 crew members. This audacious attack demonstrated the potent threat of German U-boats and forced the British to reassess their naval defenses. Which organization, established to promote scientific research, was founded in 1648 and received its royal charter from King Charles II in 1660? The Royal Society. The Royal Society is the oldest continuously existing scientific academy in the world, playing a crucial role in the scientific revolution. Its establishment in 1660 under Royal Charter from King Charles II marked a formal recognition of the importance of empirical inquiry and scientific discourse in Britain. It continues to be a prominent fellowship of many of the world's most eminent scientists. Which major waterway was opened to shipping on August 15, 1914, but was not officially inaugurated until June 12, 1920? The Panama Canal. The Panama Canal is an artificial 82 kilometers waterway in Panama that connects the Atlantic Ocean with the Pacific Ocean. Its opening in 1914 revolutionized global maritime trade by significantly shortening routes between the two oceans, avoiding the lengthy and hazardous Cape Horn passage. The canal remains a vital artery for international shipping. Which sovereign country shares its name with a state in the United States of America? Georgia. The country of Georgia is located at the intersection of Europe and Asia, while the state of Georgia is in the southeastern United States. This shared name is a notable point of geographic and general knowledge, often leading to potential confusion. Which president of the United States was involved in a significant political scandal concerning Monica Lewinsky during his presidency? Bill Clinton. The Monica Lewinsky scandal, which came to light in 1998, led to impeachment proceedings against President Bill Clinton by the House of Representatives on charges of perjury and obstruction of justice. While he was acquitted by the Senate, the affair was a defining and controversial moment of his presidency, raising significant constitutional and ethical questions. What is the common term for the joints found in the fingers? Knuckles. Knuckles are the joints of the fingers, specifically the metacarpophalangeal, MCP, and interphalangeal, IP, joints, which allow the fingers to bend and flex. They are crucial for the dexterity and function of the human hand, enabling gripping and fine motor skills. Which navigational instrument, featuring a scale of 60 degrees, 1/6 of a circle, was historically used in marine navigation to measure the angular distance between the horizon and a celestial object? Sextant. A sextant is a crucial instrument for celestial navigation, allowing mariners to determine their position by measuring the altitude of celestial bodies like the sun or stars above the horizon. Its precision and portability made it indispensable for oceanic travel before the advent of modern electronic navigation systems like GPS. Which primary color is mixed with white to produce pink? Red. Pink is a desaturated tint of red. In subtractive color mixing, pink is commonly created by combining red pigment with white, which lightens the hue and reduces its intensity. For administrative purposes, Germany consists of 16 areas which they call what? States. Germany is a federal republic comprising 16 constituent states, known as Länder. Each land possesses its own constitution, parliament, and government, affording them significant autonomy within the federal system. Who designed Britain's first atomic bomb, which was exploded aboard HMS Plym in the Montebello Islands in October 1952? Dr. W. G. Penney. Dr. William Penny, often called the father of the British atomic bomb, led the team that developed the device. The first successful detonation, codenamed Operation Hurricane, occurred on October 3, 1952, marking the United Kingdom's entry as a nuclear power. Sasha and Milia are the daughters of which political figure? Barack Obama. Sasha and Milia Obama are the daughters of Barack Obama, the 44th President of the United States. Their father served 2 terms in office from 2009 to 2017, making them prominent figures as children of a sitting president. What disaster occurred in Ireland in 1845? Potato famine. The Great Famine, also known as the Irish Potato Famine, occurred from 1845 to 1849, causing widespread starvation and disease in Ireland. It was primarily triggered by a blight that devastated potato crops, which were staple food for a large segment of the Irish population. What is the term for the conversion of a solid directly into a vapor by applying heat, and vice versa? Sublimation. Sublimation is a phase transition where a substance changes directly from a solid to a gas without passing through a liquid phase. The reverse process, where a gas directly transitions to a solid, is known as deposition or desublimation. Salvador Dali, Max Ernst and Paul Klee are classified in what school of painting? Surrealist. Salvador Dali, Max Ernst, and Paul Klee were influential artists associated with Surrealism, an avant-garde movement that emerged in the 1920s. Surrealism aimed to unlock the creative potential of the unconscious mind, often depicted through dreamlike imagery and irrational juxtapositions. On what date in the Christian calendar is the Day of the Annunciation, also known as Lady Day? March 25th. The Day of the Annunciation, celebrated on March 25th, commemorates the announcement by the Archangel Gabriel to the Virgin Mary that she would conceive and become the mother of Jesus. This date is exactly 9 months before Christmas and historically marked the start of the new year in some cultures, known as Lady Day. Which warship captured numerous merchant ships and defeated 5 British warships, HMS Guerriere, HMS Java, HMS Pictou, HMS Cyan, and HMS Levant, during the War of 1812 against Great Britain? USS Constitution. The USS Constitution, nicknamed Old Ironsides, is a wooden-hulled, 3-masted heavy frigate of the United States Navy. She is best known for her actions during the War of 1812, when she captured numerous merchant ships and defeated several British warships, earning her legendary status. The ship is still afloat and is the world's oldest commissioned naval vessel. Which canal facilitates maritime travel between the Mediterranean Sea and the Indian Ocean? Suez Canal. The Suez Canal is an artificial sea-level waterway in Egypt, connecting the Mediterranean Sea to the Red Sea, and thus indirectly to the Indian Ocean. Opened in 1869, it provides the shortest maritime route between Europe and lands lying around the Indian and Western Pacific Oceans, significantly reducing the journey distance for ships. What term was used for the groups in India, known for robbery and murder, who were suppressed by the British in 1830 and 1848? Thugs. The thugs were historically a confederacy of gangs in India involved in ritualized robbery and murder, often associated with the goddess Kali. They operated predominantly from the 17th to the 19th centuries and were systematically suppressed by the British colonial administration, notably through campaigns in the 1830s and 1840s under figures like William Henry Sleeman. The period drama, Bright Star, depicts the romance between Fanny Brawne and which renowned romantic poet? John Keats. John Keats was a prominent English romantic poet whose short life and profound works left an indelible mark on English literature. His intense, sensuous poetry often explored themes of beauty, nature, and mortality. The film, Bright Star, focuses on his poignant romance with Fanny Brawne during the final years of his life. According to Greek mythology, who accompanied Jason on his journey to find the Golden Fleece? Argonauts. The Argonauts were a band of heroes in Greek mythology who, in the years before the Trojan War, accompanied Jason to Colchis in his quest to find the Golden Fleece. Their legendary journey is chronicled in Apollonius of Rhodes' epic poem, Argonautica, a significant work of classical literature. A tabard is a type of what? Short coat. A tabard is a sleeveless or short-sleeved tunic, historically worn by knights over their armor, often emblazoned with a coat of arms. In modern usage, it can also refer to a simple, loose-fitting garment worn as a uniform or for protection. What is the term for the measure of the brightness of a star as it appears on Earth? Apparent magnitude. Apparent magnitude is a measure of the brightness of a celestial body as observed from Earth. This value takes into account both the object's intrinsic luminosity and its distance from the observer, with lower magnitudes indicating brighter objects. The city of Venice is on which sea? Adriatic. Venice, a major city in northeastern Italy, is uniquely situated on a group of islands within the Venetian lagoon, which opens directly into the Adriatic Sea. Its strategic location on the Adriatic has historically made it a significant maritime power and a hub for trade. The Bacon Society was founded in England in 1866 to promote the study of what? Evidence that infers that Francis Bacon wrote plays attributed to Shakespeare. The Bacon Society was established in England in 1866 to advocate for the Baconian theory, which posits that the works traditionally attributed to William Shakespeare were actually authored by Sir Francis Bacon. This literary theory continues to be a subject of historical and academic debate. Who was the dessert the Pavlova named after? Anna Pavlova, 1881 to 1931, Russian ballet dancer. The Pavlova is a meringue-based dessert with a crisp crust and soft, light interior, typically garnished with fruit and whipped cream. It was created in honor of the celebrated Russian prima ballerina Anna Pavlova during one of her tours to Australia or New Zealand in the 1920s. What word describes the association of dissimilar organisms for mutual benefit? Symbiosis. Symbiosis refers to any type of close and long-term biological interaction between two different biological organisms, either mutualistic, commensalistic, or parasitic. Mutualism, where both organisms benefit, is a key example in competitive exams. In Greek legend, who was the son of Daedalus who fell to his death after flying too close to the sun? Icarus. Icarus is a figure in Greek mythology, son of the master craftsman Daedalus. He famously flew too close to the sun with wings made of feathers and wax, causing the wax to melt and him to fall into the sea. This myth is a cautionary tale about hubris. The Mississippi River is located on which continent? North America. The Mississippi River is the second longest river in North America, flowing generally south for 2,340 miles, 3,770 kilometers, from its source in Minnesota to the Gulf of Mexico. It is a vital waterway for trade, transport, and agriculture in the United States. What apple-like fruit, known for its golden red rind and pulp-covered seeds, forms from usually scarlet flowers? Pomegranate. The pomegranate, Punica granatum, is a fruit-bearing deciduous shrub or small tree. Rich in antioxidants, it is native to the region spanning from Iran to northern India and has been cultivated for its edible fruit throughout the Middle East, India, and the Mediterranean for millennia. Who fell out of favor with Queen Elizabeth I due to his intrigue, was imprisoned, and eventually beheaded? Sir Walter Raleigh. Sir Walter Raleigh was an English explorer, soldier, writer, and courtier, prominent during the reign of Queen Elizabeth I. He was involved in the early colonization of North America but fell from grace and was ultimately executed under King James I for an alleged conspiracy. Which newspaper, originally named the Daily Universal Register, was founded by John Walter in 1785? The Times. The Times is a British daily national newspaper, established in London. Founded by John Walter, it was initially known as the Daily Universal Register but adopted its current name in 1788. It remains one of the UK's most historically influential newspapers. Who is credited with inventing the spa bath? Candido Jacuzzi. Candido Jacuzzi, one of 7 Italian immigrant brothers, is credited with developing the first submersible pump for therapeutic use, which evolved into the modern spa bath. The Jacuzzi brothers established their company in 1915, initially focusing on aviation and later on hydrotherapy products. Fort Worth is geographically closest to which other major Texas city? Dallas. Fort Worth is located in north-central Texas and is the county seat of Tarrant County. It is approximately 30 miles, 48 kilometers, west of Dallas, and together they form the core of the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex, a major economic and cultural hub. What was the name given to the area of Ireland that enjoyed greater autonomy from 1922 to 1937? The Irish Free State. The Irish Free State was established in 1922 following the Anglo-Irish Treaty, marking a significant step towards full independence from the United Kingdom. It existed until 1937 when a new constitution replaced it with ERA, later known as the Republic of Ireland. Which Irish dramatist, known for his play, Widowers, Houses, 1892, was awarded the Nobel Prize in Literature in 1926? George Bernard Shaw. George Bernard Shaw was a prominent Irish playwright, critic, and political activist who significantly influenced Western theatre, culture, and politics. He received the Nobel Prize in Literature in 1926 for his works that often blended satire with social commentary, exploring issues like class, gender, and morality. What historical event describes the return to power of Charles II in England in 1660 and the Bourbon monarchy in France in 1814 and 1815? Restoration. The term restoration refers to the re-establishment of a monarchy after a period of republican rule or political upheaval. In England, it marked the return of the monarchy with Charles II in 1660 after the Commonwealth period, while in France, it signified the re-establishment of the Bourbon monarchy under Louis XVIII following Napoleon's defeat. What is the term for a line of poetry composed of 12 syllables, typically in 6 metrical feet? Alexandrine. An alexandrine is a verse line of 12 syllables, originating in medieval French poetry, and often structured in 6 iambic feet. It is particularly notable for its use in classical French drama and epic poetry, influencing various European literary traditions. What kind of animal is a tapeworm? Snake. A tapeworm is a genus of highly venomous snakes native to Australia and New Guinea. Known for their potent neurotoxic venom, they are among the world's most dangerous snakes, capable of delivering a fatal bite if untreated. Which tree's leaf is featured on the Canadian national flag? Maple. The maple leaf has been a significant emblem of Canada since the 18th century, symbolizing the country's nature, environment, and the resilience of its people. It was officially adopted as the central motif on the Canadian national flag when it was inaugurated in 1965. Who commissioned filmmaker Leni Riefenstahl to create Olympia, the first documentary film on the Olympic Games at the 1936 Berlin Games? International Olympic Committee. Leni Riefenstahl, a German filmmaker, was commissioned to create Olympia, a documentary on the 1936 Berlin Olympic Games. This film is renowned for its innovative cinematography and is considered a landmark in documentary filmmaking, though it remains controversial due to its association with Nazi propaganda. What is the name of a process of dyeing fabric to produce marbled color effects using hot wax? Batik. Batik is an ancient dyeing technique originating from Indonesia, involving the application of hot wax to fabric to resist dye. This process allows for intricate patterns and marbled effects, making it a UNESCO-recognized masterpiece of oral and intangible heritage of humanity. Under the Treaty of Utrecht, 1713, which followed the War of the Spanish Succession, Spain ceded Minorca and which other area to Britain? Gibraltar. The Treaty of Utrecht, signed in 1713, concluded the War of the Spanish Succession and significantly reshaped European power dynamics. Among its key provisions, Spain ceded the territories of Minorca and Gibraltar to Great Britain, granting Britain a strategic naval base at the entrance to the Mediterranean Sea. Which nation established the first settlement in what is now South Africa at Table Bay in 1652? Holland. In 1652, the Dutch East India Company, representing Holland, established a vital refreshment station at Table Bay, marking the first European settlement in what is now Cape Town, South Africa. This strategic outpost facilitated maritime trade routes between Europe and Asia. With which country do you associate the didgeridoo? Australia. The didgeridoo is a traditional wind instrument developed by indigenous Australians, particularly those from Arnhem Land in northern Australia. It is made from hollowed-out tree trunks, typically eucalyptus, and produces a distinctive drone sound, deeply embedded in Aboriginal ceremonial and social life. What palace, monastery, covering 10 acres, 4.05 hectares, and shaped like a gridiron as a monument to Saint Lawrence, was built 20 miles, 32 kilometers, south of Madrid by Philip II? El Escorial. El Escorial is a vast palace, monastery, basilica, and pantheon complex built by King Philip II of Spain in the late 16th century, located near Madrid. Designed in the shape of a gridiron, it commemorates Saint Lawrence and serves as a significant example of Spanish Renaissance architecture, reflecting the power and piety of the Spanish monarchy. What is the official process whereby one nation or state requests and obtains from another nation or state the surrender of a suspected or convicted criminal? Extradition. Extradition is a formal process by which one sovereign state surrenders an individual to another sovereign state for trial or punishment for a crime committed in the requesting state's jurisdiction. This legal mechanism is governed by treaties and international agreements, aiming to ensure justice across national borders. What was the first ballet written by Tchaikovsky? Swan Lake. Pyotr Ilyich Tchaikovsky's Swan Lake premiered in 1877 and is considered one of the greatest classical ballets. It remains a cornerstone of the classical ballet repertoire, renowned for its challenging choreography and iconic score. What machine was invented by Professor Auguste Piccard for scientific exploration? Bathyscaphe. Professor Auguste Piccard, a Swiss physicist and explorer, invented the bathyscaphe, a self-propelled deep-sea submersible. This innovative vessel allowed for unprecedented exploration of the ocean's abyssal depths, advancing marine science. The two main branches of the river Nile are known as what? White and blue. The river Nile, the longest river in Africa, is formed by two major tributaries, the White Nile, which originates in the Great Lakes region, and the Blue Nile, which begins in Lake Tana, Ethiopia. These two branches converge at Khartoum, Sudan, before flowing north to the Mediterranean Sea. American Ivarikuko Toguri Dekino, who was convicted for treason in 1949 and pardoned by U.S. President Gerald Ford in 1977, was popularly known as whom? Tokyo Rose. Eva Toguri Dekino was one of several English-speaking female broadcasters who delivered propaganda from Imperial Japan to Allied soldiers during World War II. Accused of treason, she was convicted in 1949 but later pardoned by President Gerald Ford in 1977, amidst questions about the fairness of her trial. Which Irish philanthropist founded houses for destitute children in Stepney in 1870? Thomas Bernardo. Dr. Thomas Bernardo was an Irish philanthropist and founder of homes for destitute children in London. His work, beginning with a ragged school in 1867 and expanding to numerous homes by 1870, laid the foundation for modern child welfare charities in the UK. Except for a brief competition at Helsinki in 1952, the People's Republic of China, PRC, did not attend Olympic Games for some time because of the status of the Republic of China, ROC, within the IOC. When did they next compete in an Olympics? 1980 Winter Olympics, Lake Placid, USA. The People's Republic of China, PRC, returned to the Olympic Games at the 1980 Winter Olympics in Lake Placid, USA, after a long absence due to political disputes over the recognition of Taiwan, Republic of China. This marked a significant step in the PRC's reintegration into international sports. The city previously known as Byzantium and Constantinople is in what modern-day country? Turkey. The ancient city known sequentially as Byzantium and Constantinople is modern-day Istanbul, located in Turkey. Its strategic location on the Bosphorus Strait has made it a historical crossroads of civilizations and empire. Anton Gregorovich Rubinstein, the 19th-century musician who founded a conservatoire of music in St. Petersburg, is associated with which instrument? Piano. Anton Rubinstein was a renowned 19th-century Russian pianist, composer, and conductor, primarily associated with the piano. He founded the St. Petersburg Conservatory in 1862, a pivotal institution for music education in Russia. What transport artery runs for 13 miles between Brig, Switzerland and Domodossola, Italy? Simplon Tunnel. The Simplon Tunnel is a railway tunnel connecting Brig, Switzerland, with Domodossola, Italy, passing beneath the Simplon Pass. Completed in two main sections in 1906 and 1921, it was the world's longest railway tunnel for many years, significantly improving trans-alpine transport. Who was arrested and imprisoned in the Tower of London for aiding the escape of Bonnie Prince Charlie after the Battle of Culloden to Portree, Skye and thence to Glam on the island of Raasay? Flora MacDonald. Flora MacDonald was a Scottish heroine who famously aided the escape of Bonnie Prince Charlie, Charles Edward Stuart, after his defeat at the Battle of Culloden in 1746. She helped him evade government troops by disguising him as her maid, Betty Burke, and sailing him from Benbecula to the Isle of Skye. Her actions made her a romantic figure in Scottish history. With the history of which country is Davy Crockett associated? USA. Davy Crockett was a 19th-century American folk hero, frontiersman, soldier, and politician. He is most famously associated with his role in the Texas Revolution and his death at the Battle of the Alamo. His adventures became the subject of numerous stories and legends, solidifying his place in American folklore. What is meant by the term, lèse majesté? Crime against the sovereign or state. Lèse majesté is a French term meaning injured majesty, referring to an offense against the dignity of a reigning sovereign or the state. Historically, such laws were used to protect monarchs and ruling authorities, often carrying severe penalties. While less common today, some countries still have laws prohibiting criticism or insult to their head of state. What is another name for tungsten? Wolfram. Tungsten, a chemical element with the symbol W and atomic number 74, is also known by its old German name, Wolfram. This name is still used in many languages and is the origin of its chemical symbol. Tungsten is known for its exceptional hardness and high melting point, making it valuable in various industrial applications like filaments in light bulbs and high-speed cutting tools. The White House, Washington, D.C., USA, has how many stories above ground? 4. The White House, the official residence and principal workplace of the President of the United States, has 4 stories above ground, including the ground floor, state floor, second floor, and third floor. It is located at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue NW in Washington, D.C. The building has been the residence of every U.S. president since John Adams in 1800. The Sunda Trench is the deepest part of which ocean? Indian Ocean. The Sunda Trench, formerly known as the Java Trench, is an oceanic trench located in the northeastern Indian Ocean. It is the deepest point in the Indian Ocean, reaching a maximum depth of approximately 7,725 meters, 25,344 feet. The trench is formed by the subduction of the Australian plate beneath the Sunda Plate, a process responsible for significant seismic activity in the region. What is the biological term for T.H. Huxley's theory that all living cells and organisms originate from pre-existing living matter, not as the result of spontaneous generation? Biogenesis. Biogenesis is the principle that living organisms originate only from other living organisms, not from non-living matter. This theory was championed by Thomas Henry Huxley and experimentally supported by Louis Pasteur, disproving the long-held concept of spontaneous generation. It is a fundamental concept in modern biology, asserting that life arises from pre-existing life. Where was Ronald Reagan when he said, as part of a speech on the 12th of June 1987, "Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall"? In front of the Brandenburg Gate, Berlin. Ronald Reagan delivered his famous, "Tear down this wall" speech on June 12, 1987, at the Brandenburg Gate in West Berlin. This speech challenged Soviet Premier Mikhail Gorbachev to dismantle the Berlin Wall, symbolizing the division between East and West. It is considered a pivotal moment in the lead-up to the fall of the Berlin Wall in 1989 and the end of the Cold War. Who was the Cornish inventor famous for building a high-pressure non-condensing steam engine for general industrial use in 1880, and in 1801 for building a steam car that carried passengers? Richard Trevithick. Richard Trevithick, a British inventor, was a pioneer in steam power. He is renowned for developing the first full-scale working railway steam locomotive in 1804 and for his earlier work on high-pressure steam engines and steam-powered road vehicles, significantly advancing industrial applications of steam technology. Tetanus is known by what other name? Lockjaw. Tetanus, commonly known as lockjaw, is a serious bacterial infection caused by Clostridium tetani. The bacteria produce toxins that affect the nervous system, leading to painful muscle spasms, particularly in the jaw and neck, which interfere with opening the mouth and swallowing. What is the name for the fitting together of the masticating surfaces of the upper and lower teeth in biting? Occlusion. Occlusion refers to the way the upper and lower teeth meet when the mouth is closed, especially during biting and chewing. Proper occlusion is crucial for efficient mastication, speech, and maintaining the health of the temporomandibular joints, TMJ, and surrounding oral structures. What is the world's largest desert? Sahara. The Sahara Desert is the largest hot desert in the world, covering a vast area of North Africa. Its extreme arid conditions and expansive sand dunes make it a prominent geographical feature and a key topic in physical geography. Under which emperor was the Roman Empire at its widest extent, including Dacia, Mesopotamia, Armenia, and Assyria? Trajan. Emperor Trajan's reign, 98117 AD, marked the greatest territorial expansion of the Roman Empire. His military campaigns added Dacia, Mesopotamia, Armenia, and Assyria, stretching the empire to its maximum geographical extent. What popular sport, introduced to England by the Romans, was banned temporarily under Cromwell and finally outlawed in 1849? Cockfighting. Cockfighting, introduced to England by the Romans, was a popular but controversial blood sport. It faced temporary bans under Oliver Cromwell's Commonwealth and was finally outlawed in 1849 through the Cruelty to Animals Act, reflecting evolving societal attitudes towards animal welfare. According to the Bible, which Moabitess married Boaz in Bethlehem and was an ancestor of King David? Ruth. Ruth, a Moabitess, is a significant figure in the Old Testament, known for her loyalty to her mother-in-law Naomi. Her marriage to Boaz in Bethlehem is crucial as it places her in the direct lineage of King David. What is a Tasmanian devil? Four-legged carnivorous marsupial. The Tasmanian devil, Sarcophilus harrisi, is a carnivorous marsupial native to Tasmania, Australia. It is known for its powerful bite, distinctive screeches, and is currently an endangered species due to devil facial tumor disease. Which concert pianist became the first Prime Minister of the Polish Republic in 1919? Ignacy Jan Paderewski. Ignacy Jan Paderewski was a renowned Polish pianist and composer who also played a significant role in Polish politics. Following World War I, he served as Poland's Prime Minister and Foreign Minister in 1919, contributing significantly to the re-establishment of an independent Poland. Where does linseed oil come from? Flax. Linseed oil is derived from the dried, ripened seeds of the flax plant, Linum usitatissimum. It is a valuable drying oil used in various applications, including as a wood finish, a paint binder, and in linoleum and printing inks. What explorer sailed on the ship, Terra Nova? Robert Falcon Scott. Robert Falcon Scott was a British Royal Navy officer and explorer who led 2 expeditions to the Antarctic. The Terra Nova expedition, 1910–1912, was his second and final Antarctic venture, during which he and his 4 companions tragically perished on their return journey from the South Pole. What part of the human body is primarily affected by gingivitis? Gums. Gingivitis is a common and mild form of gum disease, periodontal disease, that causes inflammation, redness, and swelling of the gums. If left untreated, it can progress to more serious forms of periodontal disease and potentially lead to tooth loss. Which territory was declared a free territory in 1947 and administered by the United States, United Kingdom, and Yugoslavia until its partition between Italy and Yugoslavia in 1954? Trieste. The Free Territory of Trieste was an independent territory situated between northern Italy and Yugoslavia, established by the United Nations Security Council Resolution 16 in 1947. It aimed to resolve post-World War II territorial disputes over the city of Trieste, and was eventually divided between Italy and Yugoslavia. Which iconic structure, initially designed by John A. Roebling, had its construction supervised by him until his death, after which his son Washington Roebling took over the project? The Brooklyn Bridge, New York. The Brooklyn Bridge, connecting Manhattan and Brooklyn in New York City, is one of the oldest suspension bridges in the United States. Its construction, a monumental engineering feat starting in 1869, was tragically led by John A. Roebling and then completed by his son, Washington Roebling. What is the name of the Muslim prayer or chapter that is a fundamental part of the daily obligatory prayers? Al-Fatiha, often referred to as Fatiha. The 5 daily obligatory Muslim prayers are known collectively as Salat or Salah. A crucial part of each unit, Rak'ah, of these prayers involves the recitation of Al-Fatiha, the opening chapter of the Quran, which is a powerful supplication. Therefore, while Salat is the overall ritual, Al-Fatiha is a core prayer repeated multiple times daily within that ritual. The Exxon Valdez oil spill, considered one of the most devastating human-caused environmental disasters ever to occur at sea, happened on the 24th of March 1989 in the Prince William Sound, in which state of the USA? Alaska. The Exxon Valdez oil spill, one of the worst environmental disasters, occurred in 1989 off the coast of Alaska. It severely impacted marine ecosystems in Prince William Sound, leading to significant long-term ecological and economic consequences for the region. Most of the Ozark Plateau is in which two U.S. states? Missouri and Arkansas. The Ozark Plateau, also known as the Ozark Mountains, is a heavily forested highland region in the central United States. It primarily spans across southern Missouri and northern Arkansas, with smaller portions extending into Oklahoma and Kansas, known for its karst topography and numerous springs. What name is applied to the general stiffening of the muscles caused by a coagulation of the muscle plasma? Rigor mortis. Rigor mortis is one of the recognizable signs of death, caused by chemical changes in the muscles after death, leading to a stiffening of the body. This post-mortem rigidity typically begins 2 to 6 hours after death, peaks around 12 to 24 hours, and gradually subsides as decomposition progresses. A century covers how many years? 100. A century is a fundamental unit of time comprising 100 years. This term is widely used to denote periods in history, making it a common reference point for chronological understanding and historical periodization. What modern-day country was ruled between 1902 and 1964 by Abdulaziz ibn Saud and his son, Emir Saud? Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia was founded by Abdulaziz ibn Saud, who unified the region and established the modern kingdom in 1932. His reign, and later that of his son Emir Saud, were crucial in shaping the political landscape and modern development of the country, marked by the discovery of vast oil reserves. The origins of which country can be traced to the forming of a defensive league by Uri, Schwyz, and Lower Unterwalden in 1521? Switzerland. The Federal Charter of 1291, often referred to as the founding document of Switzerland, was an alliance between the three original cantons of Uri, Schwyz, and Unterwalden. This pact laid the groundwork for the Old Swiss Confederacy, a defensive league that evolved into the modern state of Switzerland. What economic theory was originated by Major C. H. Douglas? Social credit. Social credit is a heterodox economic philosophy developed by C. H. Douglas, an engineer, in the early 20th century. It posits that poverty and inequality are caused by a chronic deficiency of purchasing power in an economy and proposes solutions like a national dividend and price discounts. What is an alternative name for a hydrolaccolith, a mound of earth-covered ice found in the Arctic and subarctic that can reach up to 70 meters, 230 feet in height and up to 600 meters, 2000 feet in diameter? Pingo. A pingo is a periglacial landform, essentially a hill of ice within the ground, covered by a layer of soil. These distinctive mounds are common in Arctic and subarctic regions and form as a result of hydrostatic pressure from groundwater freezing in permafrost environments. What instrument, consisting basically of a telescope that can be rotated vertically and horizontally on graduated scales, was designed for use in land surveying for measuring by triangulation? Theodolite. A theodolite is a precision optical instrument used for measuring angles in both horizontal and vertical planes. It is primarily used in surveying, construction, and engineering to establish precise bearings, elevation, and alignment, often employing the principle of triangulation. Which war between Austria, France and Russia versus England and Prussia ended with the ceding of Silesia to Prussia by Austria and the ceding of French territory in Canada to Britain? 7 Years' War. The 7 Years' War, 1756 to 1763, was a global conflict involving most of the great powers of Europe. It resulted in significant territorial changes, including Prussia gaining Silesia from Austria and Britain acquiring French territories in North America, profoundly impacting the balance of power. The pineapple is native to which part of the world? South America. The pineapple, Ananas cosus, originated in the region between southern Brazil and Paraguay. It was cultivated by indigenous peoples across South America for centuries before its introduction to Europe by Columbus. Which Chief of Staff of the U.S. Army retired in 1937 but returned to lead the defense of the Philippines in World War II, and to direct both the occupation of Japan and the Allied effort early in the Korean War? Douglas MacArthur. General Douglas MacArthur was a prominent American military leader who played a crucial role in the Pacific theater of World War II, notably in the Philippines and the subsequent occupation of Japan. He also commanded UN forces at the start of the Korean War, making him a significant figure in 20th century military history. What genus of grass is also known as Kaffir corn, dhurra, Guinea corn and Indian millet? Sorghum. Sorghum is a genus of flowering plants in the grass family Poaceae, with some species grown as cereals for human consumption and others used as fodder plants. It is a vital crop in arid regions due to its drought resistance and is known by various regional names. According to the traditions of the Roman Catholic Church, how many stations are there in the Stations of the Cross? 14. The Stations of the Cross, also known as the Way of the Cross, is a series of 14 images depicting Jesus Christ on the day of his crucifixion. This devotion is commonly observed by Roman Catholics during Lent and on Good Friday, serving as a meditative journey through the final hours of Jesus' life. On the 28th of June 1914, Gavrilo Princip, a Bosnian Serb student and member of Young Bosnia, assassinated Archduke Franz Ferdinand of Austria in Sarajevo, Bosnia, which led to the start of which war? World War I. The assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand of Austria-Hungary by Gavrilo Princip on June 28, 1914, in Sarajevo is widely regarded as the immediate trigger for World War I. This event escalated existing political tensions and alliances among European powers, leading to the outbreak of the global conflict.